Now, China has a big year ahead. 2019 is a year of sensitive anniversaries, which in recent years has led to mass internet control or a tightening of the Great Firewall. It is 10 years since the Urumqi protests and riots, which led to an internet blackout across the whole of Xinjiang province, an area of some 20 million people. It's 30 years since the Tiananmen Square massacre, when troops cracked down on student and worker groups protesting in Beijing. And it's been 60 years since Tibet's spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, fled into India after an unsuccessful revolt against Chinese occupation. It's not great using the Chinese internet the best of times, but what is it going to look like this year? Now, for a preview, we're joined by CNN Digital's James Griffiths. And James, thanks for joining us. But before we look forward, let's look back, because as mentioned, this year is the 10th anniversary of the Urumqi riots in Xinjiang. Remind us what happened to the Uyghur internet 10 years ago.
It disappeared. After the Urumqi riots, China took the entirety of Xinjiang province offline for almost 12 months. And, that was a huge disruption to people's lives. Some people had to trek for, hundreds of miles to the nearest province to keep running their businesses or just to check emails. And when the internet did eventually come back online, all of the sites that, catered to kind of normal Uyghur people or focused on Uyghur culture or language and things like that, most of them had disappeared. And anyone that tries to open one now there's viewed with suspicion. There's a kind of view that they're, promoting separatism or promoting the type of rhetoric that China feels led to the riots in 2009.
And if China's Great Firewall could do that back in 2009, what can it do now in 2019?
Yeah, 2019 is going to be a massive advertisement for the power of the firewall, basically. Every sensitive topic you can think of that has a big anniversary this year, and the censors are probably going to block, wouldn't be surprised if they block coverage of all of them. And, there'll be a lot of dedicated, clever people trying to stop them doing that, but the money's pretty much on the censors, I'm afraid.
And there are a number, as you point out, sensitive anniversaries this year, including arguably the most sensitive one, the 30th anniversary of the June 4th crackdown and massacre in Tiananmen Square. What are the chances that activists in China could even succeed in getting past the censors?
In previous years, June 4th and basically the week around June 4th has been nicknamed Internet Maintenance Day in China because so many websites get taken offline or they deliberately take themselves offline because it's easier to just, not publish anything than risk publishing something that angers the censors. And, it's been a, wall of censorship every other year, and that's when the anniversaries are nowhere near as sensitive. And while people will definitely try and organize around June 4th from outside of China and also limited organization within it, I'd be very surprised if I saw much mention of it on the actual Chinese internet itself.
And what does the Great Firewall in 2019 mean, not just for China, but for the rest of the world? Is this an opportunity for China to showcase and export its model of internet control worldwide?
Yeah, China's been putting a lot of energy into exporting the firewall, both in terms of technology and also the ideology and the politics behind it. We saw that in Vietnam this week when a cybersecurity bill that was drafted and seems to have been based on China's own cybersecurity bill went into effect. And that bill actually came out of a training session that was held for Vietnamese officials in Beijing, one of many training sessions that China does for politicians, journalists, people that work in the IT industry. And we don't really know what happens in these sessions, but they always seem to turn out to be, more severe censorship in the countries that people are from.
China's Great Firewall, already a big influence worldwide. James Griffiths, thank you.
Thank you.